Good.
Everything's recording. So play the song.
I'm all in my feeling. It's Friday night. It's nice out.
Friday night.
This is what you wanted, right?
Yeah, this is what I wanted.
Can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Good.
Wait, say it again.
Can y'all hear
Yeah.
me?
Are we recording?
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Cool.
Ooh, you guys should see me on Lake Street or on the freeway. Sunroof open on my windows now. My clean car. Ooh.
Oh yeah, you got the Volkswagen.
I got the Volkswagen.
She got the Volkswagen.
Y'all wow.
Hello, y'all.
Hey y'all.
Hey, y'all. Welcome back to Save It for the Pod, aka the Unverified podcast. I am your host, Keat, and today is a great day. You know why? Because I am in Washburn with Sir Chuck.
Hey y'all.
The
Is
OG,
that my camera? Hey y'all.
That's your camera. And special guest today, if you couldn't already tell, we got Jenny in the building. Say what's up, Jenny. Jenny.
What's up, Jenny?
Jenny is a fellow Volkswagen driver. She is secure.
Excuse me?
Sorry, my bad.
Okay, he drives a GMC. Don't he? And she is a fellow security officer.
Yeah.
Because Chuck also used to do security.
I did also used to do security back
Good
in the day.
thing that you don't anymore. Anyways, and she is also. What else do you want to be in your bio?
Let's see. Now it's like assistant dean.
Assistant dean, future businesswoman. You know, we got a lot of characteristics on this one. And I know that everybody out there watching, at least my group of people, has a story with Jenny, as I do.
We all got stories with
We
Jenny.
all got a story.
I got a story. Jenny, I got stories with Jenny.
Yeah, hell yeah.
All kind of stories with Jenny.
Anyway, so today we got a very interesting list of discussion topics. Very important to me.
What are we talking about, Keith?
Everyone who's friends with me knows that I love to talk about the education system, and that is because, shout out to Miss Spring, we definitely talked about it a lot in Black Box, and we had quite a few things going on with that, especially with the school to prison pipeline, the education system, so much back in the day. And so I wanted to bring it back, all the way back to Washburn, and discuss it with some fellow staff members. And so I just want to get it, talking with you guys who Chuck went to Washburn. He's a Washburn alum also, and now he works here. And where did you go to high school, Jenny?
I went to Roosevelt.
Ooh.
Class of 09.
Wow, that's crazy. So Jenny went to Roosevelt, another inner city school.
Look, Chuck's wearing his colors.
Wild as hell.
Oh, wow.
That's why you didn't want him to change.
No, I just like this shirt.
Yeah, can't relate.
Not Jenny. What's your name? Keith. Keith just didn't really. Keith been hating on me lately,
I'm
y'all.
not hating.
Let me tell you something. Before she even gets into it, let me tell you something. I posted the picture of me in the suit on Instagram, and she was hating on me. She was hating on me. Jenny, you hear me? She was hating.
No, what blows me the most is the tweets.
She hates when I tweet and then I post on my Instagram.
It has to stop. Have you seen it?
Like when I tweet and then I post like my tweets on Instagram.
He posts his own tweets on his Instagram.
Let me tell you what she said. Let me tell you what she said about this picture. I'm not done with that. Let me tell you what she said about this picture. So I posted the picture, and I'm getting all kind of love. I'm getting all kind of,
I don't know who you be getting love from.
all kind of people just showing love. And she hit me. She was like, "Dang, you look like you about to go to prom." I said, "Damn, Keith, like you ain't have to do that."
I'm just trying to help you.
You could have just said, you know what I'm saying? She just hating. Like that was,
I'm not even trying to hate though. Like I support you. It
Man,
just feels like it's giving prom.
It was just salty though. That was salty, fam.
Speaking of prom, how was your prom?
I went to like 3 of them.
Great. How was your prom?
Oh, I didn't go to prom.
Why?
I was that quiet kid. I was just to myself.
I don't believe
the person that I am now. I would have never guessed.
Yeah.
That's kind of dope.
And
though.
now I go to prom. Woo!
So if you were the person that you are now, you would have went to prom in high school.
Probably, yeah.
Gotcha.
Oh my God, she would have been lit.
Gotcha.
You've been lit. Anyways, so let's just go around. So Jenny said her class and where she went. Let's just kind of like let's talk about the vibes in high school. What it was like for you guys, being at public school, inner city school, cultural backgrounds, and what that kind of was like, just being in a high school atmosphere with that age, with other kids like that in those times. What that was like for you guys. I'll have Jenny go first.
I mean, I was a very quiet kid, and being Hispanic and being the smarty pants that I am sometimes, I feel like there was a lot of teachers that didn't know how to approach me, and so either if I didn't turn in, because I didn't have all A's, I didn't have all B's, my grades were like C's and D's.
Yeah.
As long as I passed, got my high school diploma, I was like, deuces. I would have never guessed in a million years that I would have been working at a high school.
Got you. Yeah, that's dope.
So my mentality is like, whatever I didn't see back then in my 4 years, I'm trying to like push kids to graduate. I'm trying to like motivate them to get to class. Yeah, there's some kids that, already hate me. 1, 2, they're like, oh, here comes Jenny. It has to be a search.
Jenny. I'll never forget Jenny. Jenny's coming. Dip, put it away.
So, like, I mean, I try to communicate more with the Hispanic community, I mean, just so we can have someone from Washburn say, you know what, I try reaching out to your family, and your family doesn't answer, doesn't pick up, doesn't return my calls, then we got to do a home visit. And and I feel like I've been really, really close with the social workers nowadays because, one, I'm real quick at home visits. I'm so, like, I just want people to graduate, and especially minorities. That's true. Like, Hispanics, I need like, they roam the halls here at Washburn, and I'm like, oh, Jenny's racist. She only picks up on Mexicans. Like, bro, I'm Mexican.
It's important to have representation though, like in the staff, to have to connect with people. Especially like on a, like, I love that there's like that integration of like deans and social workers and teachers, because like you can't just have like teachers, you can't just have deans being the deans and them being like the bad ones, people getting in trouble, and then the social workers being whatever, because then it will be unbalanced and the loads will be unbalanced, and it won't be a community if they're not all together in touch with what's going on. So I completely hear and understand that, and I think that there should be someone like that for all of the different diverse communities that we have at Washburn, at least. Because like, it's, people aren't gonna, like, if they're, because I'm white, I have a lot of representation, but like if there weren't white like representatives in school, I would feel some type of way about it. And so having that representation is very important in a school system, in high school especially. But then integrating that with like all the other like jobs and things like that in the school is very important also, because like I said, you can't do it just yourself,
True. Because
teachers want, like, teachers care about you and they want to like be there for you, but like sometimes they just can't. Money, time, whatever. There's a lot that's gone down at Washburn these past couple of years, so it's like that's really important, and like very, very, very cool to hear from you, because like someone's got to do it. And you don't see, especially with the ebb and flow of staff lately, in my 4 years at high, like there was not the same staff every year, so having like a consistent person to do that, like that's very important.
I was here all 4 years, right?
Oh yeah. You were present for all those years.
You want to share a story, or
we'll get to that later. So, Chuck, let's hear about your experience, class of 2012.
That's
Washburn
my class.
alum. Well, so Chuck also went to North, which is cool because we have two different types of schools going on. So, can you tell me about your time in high school? What that meant for representation, for treatment, for cultural differences, anything like that?
I can. So, yes, I started off at North. I went to North for a while. And my experience at North was everybody I grew up with. Like, I grew up over North, so I grew up with, like, everybody I went to school with. And I really just wanted to, like, play basketball. That's all I wanted to do in high school. So when I went to North, I was, like, not like I was the best on the team or anything like that, but I was, like, somebody that they put like a lot of promise in to like do stuff, and I did a lot. I accomplished a lot at North at the time I was there. As far as like basketball wise, the reason why I went to Washburn is because North just changed too quickly, and it was like not cool. And then when I left, I still feel like people didn't. I don't know if subconsciously I just don't think like a lot of people like respected like me leaving, which was crazy because I just didn't feel like welcomed anymore after a while. Why?
Yeah.
Because at that time they were talking about North was closing and they were upset that kids were like leaving, and I was like one of the only kids that stayed. And I guess that my stature at North, and not saying like it was huge or anything like that. That's a plane.
That's crazy. That's
a plane.
loud.
Yeah.
The
but
one window.
I feel like my stature at North, like I said, not like I was the most important person at North because I wasn't, but I'm saying like I think my status of leaving North and going somewhere else like kind of shifted the culture more so in the direction that they were trying to prevent it to going into, and me leaving didn't help that at all. So I think people were like trying to put promise into me, and I just was not accepting it, and I don't regret that to this day. But I don't think people respected that, whether it be adults or like kids. So, but North was cool. North was fine until like it started like closing, and then it was like stupid, if I'm honest.
Can you tell me about like the differences between North and Washburn in many different aspects? You know what I'm asking though.
So the differences between North and Washburn was, one, Washburn had more white kids, and I've never went to school with white kids until I got to Washburn. Like I've never went to school with white kids. What was
that like, that transition from the community that you were at in North and growing up with that to then coming to Washburn, which is very...
Well, I remember one time, I don't even know, maybe it was Eleanor. Shout out to Eleanor, but Eleanor lives like literally like a block, like across the street from Washburn, and she had like a party at her crib, and like it was just a different experience seeing like being at a white person's house, having a party there, as free as it was. Like as far as like, if you wanted to do anything you wanted to do, you could, not like nasty or anything like that, but like if you wanted to drink, if you wanted to smoke, if you wanted to have access to stuff, you just could. That's like crazy. it was just different, and I was just like, and not saying like I had never seen that before, but it was like different to the point where it's like they weren't scared that they were gonna get caught.
I could never.
Like that's what it feels like. And I'm not saying like she's cool, like she wasn't like on that type of stuff. I mean, you know, like her business, but she's like a cool person. Like I actually, shout out to Eleanor, because I actually stayed the night at over her house during 2020 during like the race stuff, because I was scared to stay at my crib, and she let me stay at her crib, which was crazy. So shout out to Eleanor. But like I just remember stuff like that. So, and then just going to school was just, because at that time when I went to Washburn, when it had like 800 kids here, like it was literally like
so
it was literally like mixed. Like it was like everybody from everywhere was at Washburn. It was like there wasn't no more white kids and then were kids of color. It was like literally mixed. Like the kids of color, like the different kids of color made up more than the white kids. Like if I'm not mistaken, there was like 30% maybe white kids, and everybody else was from everywhere else at that time.
So what changed? Do you even know? I don't know.
You got to ask Palmer. I don't know. Not saying like it's her fault, but like she knows more about this stuff.
But the demographics. Okay. So what is it like now?
She's more in those meetings. Right. I have no idea.
Those meetings.
Yeah.
So with that change, this goes for both of you guys. Like with that change from when you went to high school to now working in Washburn and watching it change in so many different ways, not only just racially, but in many other ways. Like what can you say about that change and about how school academics, I don't want to say deaning, but what's it called when you like the dean's purpose,
like the behavior and
behavioral and like all those types of things. Like what can you say about that with how Washburn is built up right now in any sense?
Like, are you saying like what's like the
over the years between? With what how do you guys perceive things now, like with like racial differences with treatment like that, and also like the differences with that, like with how it's handled between like teachers, behavioral staff, and others.
In my eyes, everything's equal.
You know,
Jenny.
yeah.
Like, both of you guys know how I work.
Yeah.
Like,
No, I think this. No,
Jenny don't play.
The thing about the staff here is that I genuinely feel like all the staff. Well, I don't know about all the staff, but all the staff that I know that I see every now and again, I know, and I have to know every person's staff because of the positions that I've had at Washburn. So I know like I know Jenny knows everybody at Washburn. I feel like if not all the staff, like a lot of the staff are like, I know a lot of the staff here, and like I said, Jenny knows a lot of staff here because of the positions that we've had here. So I feel like knowing all of those staff, I feel like all of them, if they're not trying to be, if they're not teach with like an equal amount of just trying to treat everyone equally and trying to give everyone the best opportunity possible, I really think more than majority, I don't even know if that's a thing, but like more than majority of the like staff here like try to do that.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm not gonna say everybody because I don't know everybody and I don't know everybody's intentions like that, but most of them that I interact with, they all try to like for real.
I want to say
be
that,
better for everybody.
but like because I'm white, I don't know. Because
Fair.
It's very often where like I don't have to like.
You are white.
Yeah, I don't have. Yeah, really.
Like you are.
Yeah,
like
and so like I wouldn't know if that was like the case or not.
And listen to this. Like, I ask Hispanic kids, I ask anybody, hey,
what they be saying, Jenny?
Hold on. I'm like, hey, what do you
She just hold on to you. Wow.
What do you want me to do for you to turn in this homework? Like, is there anxiety? Are you shy? Are you like, you never know what these kids are thinking in their head.
Yeah.
Right? Because I mean, as a Hispanic, a Mexican, clearly, I'll be like, man, here comes a white person. I'm gonna be scared to ask them. What if they don't want to help me? What if they, like, what if comes up?
Yeah.
No,
yeah.
So that's why I always offer myself. Like, hey, do you need me to go talk to this teacher for you?
Yeah.
No,
but I feel you though, cause it's funny now. So now that I teach here, right? Mm-hmm. It's interesting to see like the interactions I have with all the kids, but when I talk about the kids of color, black kids, like so when I interact with like kids, like black kids, they like if they do good or if they aren't on task, like their response is completely different than anything I've seen them do with any other teacher. Like they're way more responsive to me redirecting them. And I don't know if it's because of me and my personality or it's because I'm black.
or maybe your age.
I'm also I hear that. Do you think it's because I'm probably the youngest teacher here? Because am I the youngest teacher here?
How old are you again? 20.
I'm 29.
20, no, I'm not sure, but I'm probably your.
I mean, you still bring that to the table.
Youthfulness?
Yes.
Yes.
Do I?
You do.
I do.
Stay on track.
I do play too much.
You do.
But I also teach them though. Like I legit teach them.
I think it's probably both.
It's probably the relationship that you have with them.
Brings up the mic. Just ignore the technical difficulties of this episode.
Can you hear me though? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can
I
hear
think
you.
so.
Okay,
I think so.
great.
Okay, let's just keep going. Anyways, so what can you guys say about? I forgot what I was gonna ask, but like, so do you at least at this school, do you think that a lot of teachers of color or staff of color do the outreach that you that you do with students to try and like support like that? Because I've seen that a lot, especially with deans, because like a lot of people see deans as like the ones that are there like for behavioral and like are there to like scold you or whatever, but like they're the ones who usually end up being the most supportive staff. And a lot of people want to say that teachers aren't supportive, and I think so, maybe some of them are not, but I think that like teachers do what they can with what they have, and that's why the support staff are so important in the daily lives of the students, because they have the time and resources to be what the students need in that
The
sense.
resources. Sorry, I just had to figure out something.
Yeah.
But if you don't want to answer that, if you don't want to like
No, I
want to.
I want to get into that. Like, I just mean like because like teachers are already so busy.
If I'm honest,
in other senses. Oops.
If I'm honest, when you talk about like a lot of times we just make up stuff on the spot.
Teachers?
Yeah, no, well, teachers too, but I'm talking about like it's like when we talking about like resolutions, especially like when you talk about dean work or even like teacher work, like if there's a problem, 9 times out of 10 what they're asking for, especially for teachers, when 9 times out of 10 whatever they're asking for, we don't like actually have. We just have to like come up with it like on the spot.
Well, that's what I mean. Like, I mean, like teachers are already like put under a lot, like to do like for their jobs and like what that means for them. And a lot of teachers so that's kind of what I was talking about when Zonfeld was in here. Like how he said like how he was feeling about like just teaching right now and stuff.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I feel like a lot of teachers might be feeling burnt out or tired or lacking, trying to find like the passion in that in their jobs for teachers, for staff. And I think that's like a common theme for many people in the education system, but especially in the public school education system and the inner city public school education system, and what that means for everybody's jobs. Because being a student here, there were so many intersectionality themes that were going on. And just like a lot of things like with teachers not wanting to, like teachers not knowing kind of like what to do because they want to be supportive and stuff, but they don't have the time or they don't get paid enough or like whatever the reason is, which then relates to like other things as well. And like, for example, like with fights, like if someone is fighting in their classroom, the teachers don't know what to do.
True.
And they can't like intrude.
Me and Jenny do.
I mean, me and Chuck be like, hey, Chuck.
Y'all got the training though. Like, you know what I'm saying? And so it's just like, it's different because I know that I've spoken to a lot of teachers at my time and I know that they feel the same way about like just not like wanting to support, but not knowing how to do that.
And some teachers are scared.
Yeah.
That's true.
My God. Yeah. That's the other thing too.
I'd be scared too, but I'm like, they broke my glasses the first fight that I broke up.
For real?
For real.
I would wear contacts after that.
No, and I was like, man, I look cute already with glasses, so I ain't gonna wear no
Diddy.
But like in my senior year, there were like what I was saying beforehand, there was so many deans brought in my senior year because of that was where the needs were at that year, just with what was going on. And then that was later, and then that was later, like the end of that year, that was pulled. Mm-hmm. So the resources that we brought in so that things could be easier and safer for everyone involved in the school was then pulled because of, I think, like budget cuts or something, and so it's just like stuff like that like it's just very interesting. So like as a teacher and as a security, what are your thoughts on those things with like what you have and how like this, how like kind of like how the hierarchy is like, not the hierarchy, wow, how the system is set up in school all based around that type of stuff?
I personally think that they should already have all high schools, North, Southwest, Washburn, South, Roosevelt, like they should already put in the budget that we should have this amount of people and not to cut them, because people don't last at jobs anymore. No. Then it's like new faces every year. I mean, I was here your 4 years.
Yeah, but that's like and I said that too, like very little people stayed, which also affects the student body as well. I got
cut from security technically, if you remember that. I remember Tenor came up to me and she handed me my little paper. Shout out to Miss Tenor.
Wow.
Wow, Miss Tenor.
She's supporting shout out to Miss Tenor because she's supporting us over at This Is Page. They need somebody like her. Yeah. So she's doing what she's doing.
Shout out to Miss Tenor.
Doing what she do.
No, but I remember when I worked here, it was 6 of us.
It was 6 securities.
Yeah, it was 6 of us, and it was 6 of us, and it was 4 deans. Mm-hmm. And I remember we had like floors, like we were like monitoring floors at the time. Yes. And every hour we would switch or something.
And
we
also had the officer, the resource officer.
That's right. What was his name? My freshman year we had one of those.
Well,
he was like. what was he? I'm trying to describe what he looked like.
I forgot what his
I
name
can't-
was.
I
But
don't
I
know.
So we
remember
had
talking about-
Officer Anna, we had Officer Barnes.
Oh, we had Barnes. I remember.
And then
yeah.
and then we also had Officer Mark. Yeah.
How do you guys
I
feel about
remember
having
that.
officers in schools?
Well, they not there no more.
Okay, well, how did you feel? Well, just in general, like if they were to come back, just the general thought of having, like, because a lot of people are like, okay, well, if you need prisons, like, let's just pull the police up, have them in the schools and stuff like that,
I mean,
or like officers in that sense who are armed officers specifically, who wear that uniform.
to be honest, how can I explain this? So every other week or whenever a massive shooting happens, it's like, fuck. Am I mentally preparing myself for it? Mm-hmm. Or is it like we should have an officer always at school? Why? I mean, I honestly do care about these kids. I care about you, like there's so many, I don't know. I mean, you never know. So I would like, if it was possible, I would say, yeah, at least bring one back and for him to be in his office. You don't got to deal with no behavior. I don't need you to be present if there's a mental health issue but at least have him there to get 911 call, right?
I don't give a fuck.
They pull up in like 30 seconds.
Okay.
That's just
When-
the lights.
We're here at Washburn. The lights are turning on. The lights are going to be coming up. Oh, my God. No, I'm just kidding.
Thunderstorm. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, I love thunderstorms, bro. I love rain. Okay.
Do you remember? So this is another thing that I will say. You asked me about my experience with North and Washburn, and I still technically teach both on the North Side and at Washburn right now, currently to this day. And I will say the differences, and I didn't really understand it when I was in high school, but the difference is a lot, especially in the North area that I work in. I feel like I'm gonna get a lot of flack for saying this.
Who cares what people say, Chuck?
I mean, I do, because I know.
Who cares?
The reason why.
She ain't scared.
Listen though, the reason why I'm saying that is because I still have to go to work in both areas.
He's got a job.
Like, it's,
But guess what?
like I don't care what people say. I don't care what people have to say about what I'm gonna say, but I don't want to go through what I'm about to tell you that people are gonna.
Then you better shut off your whole social media for like a week and a half.
No, I'm cool. I'll just say it.
Honestly, it needs to be said though, because like that's what sucks. Is a lot of people are like, they don't want to do that because of what they have to deal with.
Yeah, like I feel like people are gonna.
I'm gonna bleep this out. Is it?
No.
So if it's that, I get it. But if it's like pushback,
and even with that, I don't be like. That's not even what I'm talking about. Like that's a whole different situation. Crazy. But what I'm saying is like, listen.
So
this is what
I
I'm
didn't
saying.
see your text. Okay.
Can I say what I was gonna say? Damn.
Yes.
Nah, but what I really feel like is that not the administration, the faculty in both areas, and I understand that the kids are different in each spot, but I feel like the faculty in the North area that I work in the faculty at Washburn or the South Side area that I work in, they treat their students differently, and what I mean by that is it's more disciplinary stuff on the North Side, and on the South Side it's more non-disciplinary.
Privilege.
I mean, that's not what I'm getting at, but what I'm saying is like the structure over North is more so like I'm teaching you to make sure you're not doing nothing bad, but on the South Side where I work at, it's like I'm teaching you to try to make sure that you know what I'm teaching you. Cause for example, over North, more of it's catered to, like, especially like if you play sports, a lot of it is like, and people gonna hate me for saying this, but it's like I'm just trying to get you to good grades so you can be on this team.
They do that. They did that here too.
I know they do that here, but I experience it more over there than I do here, and I know people gonna hate that I'm saying this, but I just feel like it's more so like I'm trying to keep you in line, and on the other side, it's like I can't wait to see what you're gonna become. You get what I'm saying?
So what do you think can be done?
I don't know. I'm just telling you my experience. But what I can tell you, is that I'm not saying it's like always like that. And like I said, it's just the area of where I work in, because that's just reality. I'm not saying like it's like that all over North, but when I remember coming up, and I remember that would be the difference here, is that everyone expected me to graduate instead of at North. Everyone was trying to make sure that I'm just obedient. Does that make sense? Like that's how it was structured for me at North, more so.
Do you mean that because of like the location of like, and like what that means for growing up there, and like just trying to like get them like through it, or like?
I mean, that could be,
or like a weird like you need to be obedient, like like that type.
No, I mean that could be a lot of things, but I think specifically I was in a bad environment. Not like North was a bad environment, but like the direct contact with the certain adults that I don't even talk to this day. Like I don't even like them. Like it's a problem. Not like a problem like I'm a fight, but like I don't rock with them at all.
So it wasn't because of like the area where you were, but it was because of the like what they were preaching there was just like to be. Yeah, obedient.
It was more so like y'all weren't teaching me how to like. Y'all weren't like, it didn't, like, it was more so like school wasn't school. It was like, you know, just making sure you did certain things so that you weren't doing the opposite things.
And why do you think it's like that?
I don't know, Keith.
Well, and being in the position that you are in now, like as a teacher,
why do I think it's like that?
Why do you think it was like that?
It could be a prejudice thing. It could be like,
was the staff there predominantly white or were they diverse?
No, it was the traditional, like, people won't hate me for saying this too. It was the traditional majority of teachers were white and the support staff was of color.
That's a common theme in schools too.
I know, but that's what it was.
That's how it is here.
I know, that's how it is. Like that's just traditionally how schools are. Like,
why do you think it's like that?
Key, if you ask me that one more time, I have no idea why it's like that.
I mean,
why do you think it's like that?
I mean, you need an interpreter, you need a Spanish speaker, you need a Somalian speaker.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Like, I wish I had the brains that they have.
Yeah.
To be AP, because I would have been an AP. Thinking about it, like I would have loved being an AP.
Right.
So what stopped you from even high school? Like, what stopped you from doing those things, being in those classes?
College was hard, and I didn't have that role model growing up. You know, my mom was a single mom of two. Actually, my sister actually works here now. She's the 11th and 12th grade dean.
Shout out to Jackie.
Right. But anyways,
do you want to put this on the things? Keep going. But
like, I didn't have that those kind of resource that I am to the kids. Like, I make sure if you're a senior, I make sure you know where the CCC. I know I'm gonna talk to your counselor. Like, I'm gonna make sure I talk to your parents. Like, if I see all these D's or F's or whatever, and you're not passing none of your classes, like, dude, I'm gonna be on top of it. Like, I have one student right now that he's a senior, and, you know, like, life is a struggle, you know. But I'm like, dude, you have me here. Like, what's stopping you from, but I'm not motivated. Dude, I don't care if you're not motivated. I'm here to push you to graduate. You just need to turn in some homework and do your credits, and there you go, SAS. There you go.
Hey, Jenny is top tier, though.
Well, so, like, are there any, at this school at least, is there anybody else who's like that with other communities?
With other communities? I'm not sure. I mean, I try to do everything.
Yeah. I think there is something to be said, though, with, like, having someone for each community to identify with and to support them. You know what I'm saying? Because, like, you're gonna identify with them in different ways, and I think having those role models in the schools is very important. I mean, you know.
Did you have black teachers at Washburn? Did you ever have?
I graduated last year, so yes.
But who
the
though?
science teacher from Kenya.
Got you.
What's her name?
You talking
Miss
about
Osuji?
Oh, yes. Yes.
Okay.
I heard a lot about her.
Shout out to Miss Osuji.
Shout out to her.
Doctor
Bird.
Actually,
Doctor,
She is.
she is
got it
actually
like that.
yeah.
Bird.
Okay. Shout out to Bird.
I think that's it.
Yeah. That's probably accurate, but that's true though. I didn't have any.
Are they still teaching?
Yeah.
Here? I don't have. I think that was it for that. There's nobody else teaching. Wow.
Yeah, I didn't have any black teachers growing up, or at all actually. Even no matter what high school I was in, whether.
Are there any other people of color who would teach here? I don't know if Romo counts.
And Galindo.
Is
Romo and Galindo have
Romo has he has
50% white.
has what?
He has
50%
like
Mexican.
Hispanic. Yeah, he has.
Is
some
he
He's
really?
Mexican, yeah. And Galindo.
I had no idea.
Galindo's Mexican?
Yeah, you guys didn't know that?
No.
I knew he
my
had
God.
something, but I wasn't sure what.
No, I
Like-
had no idea.
Like, Romo speaks more Spanish than Galindo.
I had no idea.
I didn't know that
literally
Galindo
thought-
was. I didn't know he was Hispanic. I knew that Romo was.
Yeah. I had no idea. Well, okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah, but that's it.
Okay. Shout out to Romo.
And Arslan, I mean, one of our new APs that when did he start? 2020, I think. 2021.
Arson?
I wouldn't know.
Arson 2020, I think.
Yeah,
don't know him.
2020. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, other than that,
No,
there weren't.
might have been 2021. Because I remember Tanner was still here in 2020.
Oh,
she left when Arslan came.
Mm-hmm.
Because Tanner.
Oh, and Miss Tinner,
Was she teaching? Did she start as a teacher?
Tanner's the one that hired me.
she was an AP. She was a dean.
I wasn't sure. I knew her.
How
when
are
she
we gonna
was,
forget about the most important person,
Who?
Jinx?
He's not a teacher.
But he's not a teacher. But
We're talking about teachers. Damn, I feel so bad.
He was the dean though for a long time.
Yeah,
He was the
Jenks
football
and I.
coach.
Yeah, my dad loves Jenkins.
Yeah.
He does?
Didn't
He calls him Giovanni.
Didn't
He thinks they're cool like that. They're not cool.
Didn't he confiscate some paraphernalia from you?
Jenkins never did. She did once.
What kind of paraphernalia did
We're
he
not gonna talk
collect
about
from
it.
why not?
Because it's.
I mean,
stupid.
it's history.
It's
Yeah.
history. So Jenkins, he was on me. He had files on me, I guess. They called me. What'd they call me?
The ringleader?
He's the one who said that I was the ringleader. I don't know where that came from.
Yeah.
Who said that?
Jenkins. My dad brings it every single time we talk about high school. He's like the ringleader, and I'm like, okay, ha 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 ha. Because him and Jenkins were like,
What did you ringlead?
I don't know. How about you ask Jenkins?
I'll ask him.
You should.
We should interview him.
I don't know. I was thinking about that. I was thinking, I wanted him to. It would have been cool to have him on here.
Mexican. It doesn't matter. Ecuadorian, whatever. Hispanic in general, Latino, period. It's really hard for us to receive education here. One, because our parents are immigrants, so they don't know how the school works. They just say, oh yeah, just go to school, learn, do your homework, da 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 da. They don't have the time or the education to help you with your homework.
Word.
Because my mom was a single mom, working 2 jobs. It was like 99.9% of me and my sister. It was just us by ourselves. She never let us take the bus, but she dropped us off at school, picked us up, and then went to work.
Your sister?
No, my mom.
Your mom?
Mm-hmm.
I wish my mom never let me take the bus. I had to take the bus.
Hell yeah.
I wish that.
Metro Boomin all day. All day.
No, I hear you though. Do you feel like so how do you feel like you are now with where you're at in life, just based off of how you grew up and what you know now? Do you have like resentment, or do you feel like you're okay like moving forward from where you are?
No, like I feel comfortable where I'm at right now.
Got you.
Use me as a resource. Like I always tell students, like use me as a resource. You might get in trouble once in a while with me, right? Or
That's only if you're doing shit that will get you in trouble, though.
Exactly. But then that's when they break our friendship, our relationship, or whatever, you know, like when you got caught up, you didn't talk to me for a while.
We were really talking before that, though.
No, but it was like a hi, have a good day, you know. It's like, oh, here comes Jenny.
I mean, I think it's like that for anybody, because you like they're gonna feel some type of way.
It's not my fault that you guys got caught up.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
One thing. Oh, another thing that I will say though about the difference between, like not the areas, but like the school from when I was here and now. Like now, I remember old school said this. Everybody knows old school, but I remember old school said that back in the day, like they were worried about like fights and like brawls and like sometimes bringing like weapons in, but there was never like any shootings or nothing like that. But he was like, it went from like fights and like cliques and like gangs and stuff like that to drugs to suicides to overdoses and like I remember when I was here when I was security and like there was a kid that was like literally sitting on like the ledge about to jump out the window. I remember.
Trigger warning, please.
Sorry, but that was. I mean, that's the truth though. That's what happened. Mm-hmm. And I'm just saying that to say like when old school was saying like it like that's how it's changed. It's just like, you know.
What
like,
do you think has changed that?
I think that just times. I feel like drugs are more glorified now than ever because I feel like even when you think about marijuana, like how it's illegal in a lot of states right now, or like
I think certain drugs. For me in high school, it was just certain drugs. Like especially because I feel like vaping was like just starting to come up. Like I went through my vaping phase in like freshman year because it was new. It was like, oh, like whatever, we want to do this. So I feel like I don't know. I feel like in high school it's not like I don't know. Back to what you said. I'm gonna put a trigger warning at the beginning of this video now. So anyways. So, just like being like staff in this building, what are your thoughts on, like what you said about like drug abuse and like mental health and a lot of like, suicidal stuff, and just some other like safety features in that sense with just like the overall mental health and, that kind of stuff with teenagers? What are your thoughts? What are your stories, noticings, observations?
I was a really close-minded person. Like I didn't think mental health existed. I didn't think anxiety existed. I didn't, you know.
When did you?
As soon as I started working here at Washburn, I started realizing a lot of things, you know. And I'm like, no, I gotta change my. You grow as a person, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, that's exactly what I'm still doing because, I mean, I'm not that old and I'm not that young, and then being Mexican, like all that, parents don't believe that. Parents don't. It doesn't exist in their brain cells, basically.
Like so, like mental health stuff like that.
Which is because that says a lot about them too, and how that's gonna affect their like,
exactly. Like if you're depressed or your anxiety, and it's like you're laying on the couch watching TV, or you don't even want to watch TV, and you're just locked up in your room, don't want to talk to anybody. They're like, go clean, go cook, go do your laundry, do something. Yeah.
Right.
And I was actually, a lot of people don't know this, but when I went to Washburn, I was like really depressed. Like as a high schooler. Like I was really depressed.
There's
like,
a lot that I experienced in high school too.
Yeah, like
peak
there
years.
There was just a lot that happened to me in my senior year that nobody really even knows about. And like I would cry like every night. Like, and I uncontrollably cry. It was crazy how bad I actually felt my senior year, but I couldn't like show that because I felt like I had too much riding on me, and nobody around me was like trying to hear me like talk about that shit.
Is that because you identify as a male, or because of something else?
Because I identify as a male, and nobody wanted to hear what I had to say about that. Oh, I don't know if that's true, and I'm not saying that nobody wanted to hear it. I didn't feel like that. You
didn't feel,
yeah, you know, what I'm saying?
You didn't feel comfortable.
Yeah, you didn't feel there wasn't a safe space
because somebody could have probably heard me and like helped me, but I didn't see that seam. I didn't see that.
And a lot of students feel that way.
Yeah, so I just didn't feel like I could.
And that's how I felt in high school.
Yeah.
And so I was really like quiet, solo, and just like my sister was more like, oh, I'm gonna go hang out with the gangsters. I'm that cool person.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go smoke a joint kind of person. And I was like, that ain't for me. I just want to get my education. Pass. I don't care what the D is, C. I don't care as long as I get my high school diploma.
Yeah.
You know.
I feel that.
That's good that you had that goal though, because a lot of people don't in high school that I was around. Like a lot of people didn't even like have that.
Yeah.
Like, and like not even like an end goal. Like they were struggling in many ways, education wise and mentally, but they also like, they like some of them like didn't have a goal to even just graduate. You know what I'm saying? And that's what like was really hard. Just being a friend too, like just being like, damn, like I really want you to just like graduate at least. You know what I'm saying?
I think that's why I am the way I am now. From any direction, like from me being so super strict, from me like no to drugs, because I don't like kids smelling like marijuana. I don't like them trying it. I don't like them drinking. It's like, bro, you'll get there in college by 18, then you can start trying whatever you want to try. But right now, it's like
it's a lot.
It is a lot.
I don't know how like to go about stuff like that, because it's so dependent on where you are mentally also, that like I'm all for like trying stuff, being whatever, but like it's so touch and go with access to it, but then like the type of stuff that you access and like the mental headspace that you're in when you are accessing that. Because like not even getting about like, oh, it could be laced or like whatever, especially with carts. God, carts are so dangerous. But like just like where you are mentally trying stuff, and how that where you are mentally when you start trying stuff, and like that intake is gonna affect your future with like your future relationship with that substance. And so like that's what I have a hard time with, like people having like those instances in high school, because of how it's gonna affect them in so many different ways for such a long period of time, even after high school, and like how that's going to start becoming a habit for them, and what a toxic habit based on like where they start out. Like that's what I don't like. It's like, okay, party, like do your thing, whatever, but I just feel like it's taken in such a complicated way in that sense, where it's going to affect them way past high school, and I don't want to see that that system starting. I don't want to see that start for some people, because that's where it usually starts. And now like where like mental health levels are, like at least where I was in high school, and how like the kind of like the populace and the general like mental health levels were just like crazy, and then mix in substances and now vaping and having access to these pens and stuff, like it just kind of like worries me,
Yeah.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
To talk about?
Yeah.
Okay. So like being a teacher, a dean, what are the kind of like, vibes or stuff like that?
I mean,
like what you've seen.
I mean, I wish I can save everybody, right? I wish I can deeply go inside your brain and be like, what are you thinking? And try to change things. But I mean, sometimes you can't do that, and it's sad how people just want to just end their life. But I mean, it's sad.
I remember when, I'm not gonna say her name, but I remember when old girl jumped off the bridge a couple years ago.
Oh,
you remember that?
Oh my God!
I know her.
You know what I'm talking about?
I know her. Yeah.
And I remember everybody here was like taking it really, really difficultly, because she was actually, I remember she was actually really cool, and she had a couple instances where she like had some attempts here too, but she was always like just really cool. I know she had it hard when she was here, but besides that, I'm speaking that because I remember that happening in real time, and that's something that actually went through, like that followed through, like that actually happened. But I remember being here before I was a teacher, because I was here 3 years before I was actually a teacher. But I remember being here, and like I said before, like people overdosing, not dying though, but people overdosing, and people like literally somehow made it on the roof, or like somehow, you know, got the. That's why these windows don't even open.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
That.
Like these windows don't even open.
I was in a class where a girl tried to.
Were you?
Jump out, yeah.
Yeah, like I remember
in the middle of class.
Yeah, I kid you not, had like out of those 3 years, it probably happened at least at least 5 times.
And people don't see that. People don't see that working here in the education field.
Yeah.
Like that's when I realized that mental health is real.
Yeah.
You know?
It was crazy.
And it sometimes, you know, you have to let it out, cry about it. I mean, there's days when during COVID 2020, like when we all got sent home, like it was a really emotional time for me.
That's what y'all remember mostly about it? Because I remember they tried to put me to work on some like.
You don't know if these kids ate.
I don't know.
Like
I don't know.
Like
it was such a big wake up call for people. I feel like.
Like I feel like dropping off devices made me realize where they live. 1,
I know.
2, parents were like, is there any possibility that you guys can help me? And that's when I was interpreting more, like starting to interpret and making more Spanish calls.
Yeah.
So my Spanish got better, right? But that's not the point. The point is that I was actually helping the community. I build a relationship with the social workers more closely. Michelle Nelson, Missy, John Juvenville, and Jesse. I really don't, but
yeah.
But those three, the three top ones, man. I feel like we are like this now.
Yeah.
It's like, can you do me a favor?
Them your peoples.
Those are my people.
Mm-hmm.
Don't fuck with them, cause.
I mean, that was the same way too. Like Missy had to drive us home one time after like that half race war. That 1 year, sophomore year, with my group. Like, she had to drive us home because, like, we were going to be attacked. So, like, they, like, just, like, stuff like that you wouldn't even expect would have to do. Teachers, like, just, or like, staff are just doing that.
Mm-hmm.
But.
And I wish, like, I'm not a licensed staff. So, it's not like I lose my license for any reason. But it's like, I feel like Washburn, I have created like a bond with Washburn.
Mm-hmm.
Like I have.
How could you not?
Dr. Palmer's trust, like Michelle Turpinning and Arslan and Mark, and like now I feel like I love where I am now. That's why I don't want to quit this job.
Yeah, it's like a soul tie, like, you know, like this, just stuff like that. Like that's what I really. Like just going forward where I'm at with like what I want to do for my work and stuff is just so because of where I came from, because of Washburn and because of Justice Page, like I am who I am today. And I know that like whatever I end up doing, like it needs to be connected in some way, in a sense that people are connected in like a school like that. Whether that means education, whether that means social justice, whether that means whatever. Like I know like that has to be a part of my work because that's just important to me. I can't leave these like people behind, these people who are going to be going through different things that I went through, that are just starting to go through things with the drugs, with mental health, with social media. Like there's just so much that like I just can't leave that behind, you know? And so like that's how I know like I'm gonna be in something like that, because there's no way that I could just like leave that behind. That's why I value teachers so much, and Black Box and Chuck and Jenny, like all these people that I value, because you guys are like in those things, even though it's not like people are always complaining about, people who aren't in the system are complaining about, you know, like money and like not having a happy life, but like it is because you're fulfilled in a different way, because of what you're doing is so underrated, but it's such important work. And it brings you, I hope that it brings you, people that I've spoken to have said that it brings them a different type of happiness than other things would, because, you know, it's the underrated, you know, like heroes in a sense. You know, people don't know that this stuff needs to happen or that this goes on, but it does go on because people don't care about those titles or about the money in that sense. And they're just doing it to do it without being given back anything, which is crazy to me.
You think that's like crazy?
It's crazy because like there like nobody actually gives you guys your props for what you do.
No, that's true.
Like we're talking about people having to like help with drug overdoses, suicides, shootings in schools. Like you just don't have bonds and experiences like that in real life in the same way as you do in school.
Oh, that's
true. And I'm gonna tell you guys something, and then whatever from there we can wrap it up or whatever.
Yeah, we got to. So yeah.
So I got pulled over in Edina, right? So I live in Edina. I live right there on 66 in York.
Hey, party.
Bougie.
And,
That is bougie.
Tell me why. There was a Caucasian officer pulls me over, and I'm like, finishing parking. I'm like, dude, I just pulled up to my crib. Like, is this your vehicle? Yes. Whose house is this? I live in these apartment complexes. It's not a house. Let me correct you there. It just felt so like, I don't know. I felt some kind of way where I'm like, damn, why do we got to go through this? Us colored people.
Mm-hmm.
Right? But the point is that where I'm going is like, shit, I fucking just cleared my mind. And
you was hot though, because I see she was bad. I tell you, that's what happened with she with the skulls.
Oh my
goodness!
She was about to. It died.
Did it die for
This
real?
died.
Yeah, it's fine. Let's just wrap it.
It's just Chuck. Is her still running?
Yeah, go ahead.
Finish your thing. It's just Chuck's.
So I was gonna say that cops treat people like shit sometimes, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, bro, I'm in the education field.
Yeah.
First of all, second of all, dude, I don't even talk to my students this way, and you as a Caucasian person are talking to me like that?
Yeah.
It just hit us so like it hit like a reality check.
Yeah.
And it's like, bro, what about my color students?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Did you hear about John Pope Jr.?
No.
What's that officer that that's locked up now because of George Floyd?
Chauvin.
Did you know that that officer put his hands and did the same thing to one of our students?
No, I didn't know.
Chauvin did?
Yes.
No, I didn't know that.
Dude, I was like, I'm still processing it in my mind because so those news were out yesterday that he's gonna John's gonna receive like $74.3 million because of how that fucking stupid ass officer treated. I'm like, dude. So I'm in the position where I got pulled over for a revoked license or whatever, canceled license, but I got that shit fixed anyway. Real quick. And but I'm like, dude, my students, my community does not need to go through that.
Mm-mm.
And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, where's this world coming? Like, where are we? Like, we're supposed to be united. We're supposed to push each other to do better, not fuck up or fuck over people.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was in my feelings, and I was like, I just had to say it because I'm with you guys and I love you guys, and I just needed to, let it out.
All right, that's right.
Especially with Chuckie over
Yeah,
here.
let's.
There's a lot. Yeah,
let's wrap it up.
There's a lot.
Cause let's do that. I appreciate you, Jitty. I appreciate you, Keith. You know what I'm saying? Mama, I love you. I be home soon. You know what I mean?
What? This dude.
Anyways, this has been the Unverified podcast with
Let's
Keith,
go.
Chuck, and Jenny. Thank you for
go,
listening.
Jenny.
Take care of yourselves, and please reach out if you ever need anything.
You know what I
And
mean?
praise the people in the education system for being.